So isn't this exciting? After 4 to 5 years of thinking about launching a YouTube channel, I finally got here to do it. And isn't it great after feeling that fear, all of a sudden you feel a little bit of excitement about starting something new. That fear, those things that hold you back have turned into excitement, and largely nothing has changed other than the story I have been telling myself around it. Today we're going to talk about that exact thing, which is just getting started. Nothing is ever perfect, and you probably never feel quite ready to do the things you want to do, and that's what we're going to address in today's video. As you just heard, I am launching my YouTube channel. I hope you get to learn more about me as I choose to share more with you honestly on this channel as we progress and grow. My name is Ro, and I enjoy talking about health and wellness, and that's exactly what we're going to do on this channel. So if you can, please hit the subscribe button. So getting back to this video, we're going to be talking about getting started. I think it'll be useful to talk about an example, and in this context is going to simply be me, the example of getting started on this YouTube journey. There are so many parallels that we can take from any sort of journey that we take in life, and you can use this as a learning or an insight into an opportunity to hopefully to get started in something which I'm really passionate about, which is your health and wellness, and perhaps to start doing and taking that first step in something you wanted to do for a while. Ultimately, you just have to get started. In order to record this video, things could have been a lot more perfect, and I'm going to share that with you just shortly. You might think I'm sitting in a nice studio that looks great and got an expensive camera and all sorts of stuff, and I'm going to be really transparent with you in this video today so you can really know what it's taken for me to get here. I was meant to record this video 2 days ago, and I felt slightly unprepared, and rightfully so. So I took a little bit more time to script and jot down my ideas and feel a bit more prepared. But even when recording and deciding to record this video today, I didn't feel ready. Things cropped up, like my neighbors making a bit more noise and being in the garden, that could have affected me starting this right now. But ultimately, the other thing we're going to talk about in this video are just stories, and we might sometimes call them excuses. There's never going to be the perfect circumstances, so we just have to get to a point where we're well prepared and then get started. A really good example of this might be this room. Like I just said, it might look like a really nice studio. Actually, I recently painted this wall behind me and did the paneling below. Not my expertise, as you will learn, but the good news is the basis of health, the things that we can be working on, most of them that have disproportionate gains that are more important than anything else, are largely free. So what we're going to do, so you can get to know a little bit more about me and just how I go about my day and journey, is for me to share a little bit more personally the surroundings I'm in, so you can get a bit of insight into exactly what's going on and how this might look to you and how people might portray themselves in the health and wellness world or in the corporate world or whatever. Really, when you dig down and look behind it, you begin to see that everyone has their flaws, things are never perfect, and again, you just want to get started. So let me crack on with that. So like I said, this is totally unscripted, and with this part of it at least, and we're just going to go around the room, so you're going to get a bit more insight into the space that I'm sat in. So I recently refurbished this wall and that wall over there in a building, a house that I've just moved into not too long ago. There's work to be done on the ceilings, etc., and you're getting an insight into what an imperfect world looks like when it might look like the perfect world to you initially. Going round, I just want you to know, I also injured myself very recently, and this boot is how I have to get about for a significant proportion of my life now, and you kind of just have to make the most of what you have and deal with situations that present themselves to you. I've been going to the gym and still working out in a boot and keeping up with my health and fitness, so that's one thing I wanted to share. The other is, you might see on the table next to me, 2 books, and I like these. I had these sat around for ages and I never really started reading them. The great thing is they're a thin read, and I'm not trying to recommend these books to you, but the things that they kind of express to me is changing the narrative. It's so easy to get caught up in a negative narrative especially around something like my injury and feeling maybe sorry for yourself and finding excuses. But I found these books really helpful. They kind of go down the approach of what you think largely affects your reality. So try to think in useful ways that impact your reality rather than other ways that might mean you find the negative or stop yourself from doing something that might be beneficial to you, and embracing a really healthy mindset. I want to refrain from saying positive mindset, because sometimes it's good to dwell and feel those emotions that might be a little bit negative. But I'm going to steal a phrase from my friend where talking about something like that, and he says, it's okay to cry. Make sure you cry, but don't forget to wipe your tears, which I always found beautiful, which is the fact that there should be a mourning period to any loss or discomfort, but we always wipe our tears, move on. Life's about moving on and doing things. That brings me to my next point, which is my trusted Bose headphones on my desk, which I'm not trying to promote, or they are not a sponsor of anything I'm doing, but just music. Music can be really helpful. A lot of people love listening to music when they're working out, just like me. But I think music can be really powerful in embracing emotions. And one thing I've done more recently, the last few years, but probably my whole life, is the fact that I get drawn to very deep music that helps me feel my emotions at times. Really surprisingly, my former neighbor in the place I used to live before sings a certain type of music, and during COVID and lockdown she actually rose to fame with her partner in producing a certain type of music called Kawali, and they're a part of the Kawali orchestral group, and their music really speaks to me. It helps me get to this place where I feel a little bit deeper, and emotions that might be a little bit lower or deep down that I don't address on a daily basis. So when I feel like getting in that mindset, I listen to that type of music. Equally, when I'm teaching a HIIT class or doing something in the gym, I listen to the appropriate music that lets me embrace that mindset, which I find like a very useful tool in managing my health and well-being. As we move around, you'll see lots of sports equipment. For me, sports has always been a really pivotal part of how I manage health. The easiest thing, it's the thing that I always tell people to start with first, no matter how big or small the step you take is. Everyone has a different relationship with movement, and based on the stories and the experiences they have in their lives. And you have to realize that you can change the narrative around sports and exercise and movement, and if you're not doing it, there's a reason you're not. That is probably quite powerful. It's integral to being a healthy person, but it's integral to being a human being. So if you don't like doing it, maybe it's worth investigating that narrative or just changing it and getting on with it. There's one aspect in health and well-being that I find really useful, which is that actions lead feelings. Don't wait to feel good before you do something about it. Act, and you might find that you feel good as a result of it. Movement is an incredibly useful and powerful one for that, whether it's a walk down the road or going down the gym for a workout. I think it's really important in this busy and chaotic city developing world lifestyle to interrogate the things that get told to you. HIIT workouts are incredibly popular, which I'm not a fan of, because they've risen to popularity because they suit someone that has a limited amount of time, that are very busy, etc. And these are kind of more deeper problems that need to be dealt with, rather than throwing something like HIIT at it as a solution. The thing I find with HIIT when I train it myself and teach other people in classes is it's the highest risk area for people getting injured. People are already not that fit and not working out in ways that they should. Why do that intensely in a short span of time where you just emphasize your weak points, if anything? So I don't believe in that pain and gain mentality that people tend to embrace when it comes to movement. I'm far more a fan of enjoying what you're doing, and to be very honest with you, if you enjoy things and you keep it simple, as you grow, you will begin to enjoy some of the burn and some of the pain that comes from it. But when we get into that pain realm where it doesn't feel good and disgusting, in most aspects, I don't believe going down that road unless you're specifically trying to do it for a particular purpose. Final bits I want to share are When I first got started and left a career behind in the finance and accounting world, which was about 4 or 5 years ago, I printed t-shirts because I became a personal trainer as part of what I do. And the thing that I wrote on them, as you can see, it's simply about getting started, being present, and then keeping going. And nothing has changed in 4 or 5 years in that approach to what I think would be a healthy way about going about life. Getting started, often we overthink it and we just need to do it. When it comes to being present, we just need to navigate thinking more in depth about why we're doing things and why we're going about them. And then keep going is simply making sure it's enjoyable and simple. Our brains and lives are not built for daily pain and abuse and just, I don't know, that sort of lifestyle that the city and the developing world seems to sell you. Grit eventually runs out, and it's not something you want to rely upon on a daily basis for your lifestyle. So keep it simple, make sure you enjoy it, and trust me, the things you pursue, even when they get difficult, you enjoy them. It's about enjoying the difficulty, but at some point you will feel as if those difficult things are enjoyable, and when they feel like they might not be, sometimes you want to push through it, but not on a daily basis, because it's not going to be rewarding, and it's not going to turn into a healthy habit. Lastly, you might be watching this video and thinking, I'm not good at anything to do with health and wellness. And it's just simply untrue. You might be a good sleeper. You might have a good sleep routine where you sleep regularly at the same time for a good amount of period that you always feel well rested. You might be someone that embraces cooking, who really likes what they do in the kitchen. And that could be something where you involve some healthier aspects going forward. You may be someone who is very social, which makes you incredibly patient with others, which is a huge aspect of health and well-being. And I say all these points because I'm a health and wellness coach. This is the area I work in, and the ones I specifically just mentioned are things I need to work on. I do not enjoy being in the kitchen often. I am not the best sleeper, and I somewhat am an introvert. Wouldn't you know it, my camera decided to stop recording. Maybe it overheated. And maybe it's trying to tell me something. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with my final message, which is you just have to get started. It's important we dig and understand our narratives around health. Movement is always the one. I think it's so easy to do and free. And if you don't find it easy, there's a narrative hanging around there that's maybe holding you back. So as little as anything, maybe try and walk down the road to a lamppost you can see and come back if you don't feel like going any further. I wouldn't be here recording this channel if I had waited for the perfect time. Health has been incredibly useful to my life, as you will see if you choose to progress and follow more of my videos and this journey with me. Thank you for watching. It's been a far longer first episode than I ever expected, but that's the way it is. Signing off today with my first episode. Incredibly proud of myself. It has not gone well. I do not feel good about it, but overall I'll be happy when this is released and I have at least impacted one other person as well, perhaps positively. Alright, take care and speak soon, guys, and please don't forget to subscribe, like if you found this useful. I will continue to produce more, hopefully shorter videos. Take care.